Hey guys, before we get to those lists, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell.
Make sure you're checking out our Discord where people are talking, chatting, leaving discussions about things, and trading and selling board games sometimes.
Join our Facebook group. Follow us on Instagram for memes and reels.
Also, find us on Whiskey Wednesday live, 8 p.m. Eastern.
On Wednesday.
Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Mike.
This is Board Game Rundown, and today we're going to do something different. We're going to talk about the top 5 games we played in January.
I feel like it's different, but it's the same. Because we used to talk, like back in the day, we all think back to back in the day. We used to talk about the games that were hitting the table and the games that we were excited to play. We actually got to play. And
yeah, so if this goes over well, we might try to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Something like
We're
this.
going to keep doing it.
So we can recap.
There should be 12 of them. That's
Yeah.
one for each month.
Oh, that's weird.
Ooh, is that how that works?
Should.
If that's the calendar you're using.
Whose calendar are we using?
There is a caveat, so I'll make sure I will not use this for my February, but there was a game I was supposed to play on Friday, which was the 31st.
Yes.
That I did play on Saturday the 1st.
Okay.
So I am going to include it.
Yeah.
I want to talk about it.
We had a gaming convention here in town, and it was a Friday, Saturday thing, so we kind of caveated that into the January gaming event.
Yeah.
Even though he's the only one that did it.
Yeah.
It also sounds like an asterisk.
It does.
Yeah. And now also, just to be clear, these are not necessarily all like new to us games or anything. It's just our
Games
favorite
we played.
games that we played last month.
Yep.
Not most played, not...
They could be out now, out coming soon,
Yes.
or maybe never, but who knows? We'll see.
Maybe
it's
never.
just games we played in January that we really enjoyed.
Yep. All right. Let's get right to it.
Let's get right to it.
So we're going to start at 5,
We're
right?
going to start at 5.
Okay.
All right. So my number 5, I've been playing this game for a long time. It was one of my intros to the gaming world. Defenders of the Realm.
Oh, you played this in the last month?
I have played this in the last
That
month.
was
This is my Magic
I
group.
played
They
it as
really
well.
enjoy this game, and so
so
we do get
good.
to play it quite a bit. It is getting a reprint. I'm nervous about it because I'm not super huge on the art style, and I think they have changed some of the mechanisms. But trying to get information out of the guy at Gen Con was like pulling teeth, and I wasn't going to stand there and do it. So I just kind of watched the people play a little bit, and then I left. But Defenders of the Realm is a fantastic game. It's kind of like the pandemic killer for me, where you've got your heroes. There's a whole bunch of asymmetrical heroes. They're in the middle in Monarch City. You've got these 4 generals, and they're marching in and spawning minions, and you're using your abilities to fight those minions back to try to keep them from spreading and tainting the land, and trying to kill all the generals before they reach Monarch City.
This
And
game's
it's
so good, and it's
it is.
still good.
Yeah.
I mean, Richard Lanius,
Yep.
classic.
Yep.
Really good. Great pick. Man, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
We lost.
We did.
Okay, so I'm going to get my February 1 game out of the way right now. So, cool story, bro. Like, something that happened that legit was really cool is in 2019, we had maybe filmed, we just barely started this show. And Bob and I were part of a group that's a local group, and we were running like big meetups and stuff. And we had organized a proto-spiel in South Bend, and I met a guy who had this deck building like 1v everyone, right? Everyone EVE, right? Everyone versus everyone.
Yeah.
Game, but there's also like a boss monster, kind of thing there in the middle, like a boss you can fight. But you can attack anybody you want. And he had this game called Shadows, Heroes, and Monsters. And it was a deck building game like none that I'd ever seen. And he reached out to us. He found us because he's like, he was looking up board game stuff on YouTube, and he saw us, and he's like, I recognize that guy. And he reached out, and so we got a copy of the game and stuff like that. And then he was at this convention we were at. Long story short, too late. I got to finally get to play it again. I was like, well, I've got an opportunity to relearn it, play it again, and it had changed a little bit since I played it like 5 years ago. And this game did not disappoint. This game's awesome. So you are going to play as like an asymmetric hero, and there's like 4 in the deck. There's 3 monsters. You're going to go through them one at a time. They've got different abilities. The monster has its own deck of how it's going to respond when you attack it. And then you have your own starting deck of cards, starting deck of cards. Deck building, but what you're going to do is you're going to pick up all your cards, look at them, and you're going to pick what 3 cards you want to play. So every time you have access to your whole deck. So you're look at what card you want to play, And in the first round, when it's the first monster, you can only play 3 cards. When it's the second monster, you play 4 cards. And the third monster, you play 5 cards. The cards all have initiative values on them, 1 through 5. I mean, there might even be a 6 in there, but for the most part, 1 through 5. So starting with the leader, the lead player, they get do a couple things. They get the crown. I think it was a crown. And they get to pick where everybody either gets 1 experience or a gold. Okay, so you're going to use gold to buy items that are going to increase your stats, and you're going to use experience to buy cards that you're going to add to your deck. The cards that you add to your deck, you can draft before you even start. So before everybody even starts, and he suggests you lay out like a column. You lay it out like a 3x3 grid, and you do, I draft this column or this row, and then you replace. And then those cards are going to go to your deck, and then you can buy those for 3 XP each. And when you buy them, you get a victory point for buying a card because you're getting more experience. And then now you have access to that card. So anyways, you play, everybody puts down their 1 card, like basically face down. And then starting with the leader, they reveal their 1 card, they resolve, and we resolve all the 1 cards. And then your 2 cards. The 2 cards tend to be like the attacks. So where are you going to attack? And then your the 3, the monster attacks on 3. Now here's the thing. The leader draws a card off of the monster deck for each player and assigns them face down. So sometimes you are going to get a benefit if you can attack the monster and he doesn't have a response. So I could put that card in front of me because now I know I'm going to attack the monster. He's not going to respond. So my card is going to give me a bonus because he didn't respond. And then also by attacking that monster, because when you attack him, you reveal your card and you resolve it. If you attack him multiple times, you then start blind drawing for each extra attack. The other thing is, I'm also setting you guys up. So if I think you're going to attack that monster, I might put an attack in front of you or or like a defense, right? So that he's going to defend it. You know, and then, so there's all kinds of different things like that. You're basically playing till 9 victory points. So you're going to get victory points by, and then there's items you can buy, which are going to increase your stats. So your stats are going to determine like how much damage you can do and what cards you can play, things like that. So you play like 2 turns of this and you've got the game. There's a lot going on, but it was really interesting. That initiative system and sort of that push and pull of like when to do stuff. And sometimes you're like, I've got an attack card, but you're going to dodge it. And I don't want you to be able to play a response card, which is going to give you a benefit. So I'm not even going to bother attacking. I'm just picking that up. And it was, and there's some like Kuhn, who is the designer of the game, and he taught it to us. He attacked me, and I had a defend card, and he had another attack out, and he's like, well, you wouldn't have 2 defense cards, so you're probably like, I'm going to attack you again instead of attacking Justin, who was sitting next to me. And of course, I had saved 2 of them. And he's like, oh no! So like I wasted, and I had like loaded up on stuff, you know, because I kept getting the benefits from blocking those attacks. So really cool, really unique mechanics. I have not played another game like this. And I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait to do a video about it. But we've got basically the first edition. The second edition will be coming to Kickstarter this year. But man, that was a damn good game. Sorry I talked so long about it. But there's kind of a lot to explain there. So I apologize for going on. But I really wanted everybody to kind of have a good idea of what that game was about. Yeah. My other ones won't go that long, I promise.
Sounds unique though, and Tim's the only one that played it.
Yeah.
So. All right, sounds cool.
That was the first time I really got a chance to talk to you about that because we were real busy yesterday.
Yeah,
so.
we were.
Awesome.
Sorry.
All right, that's all right.
All right, my number 5. This was a 2024 Gen Con release from Devere, and we finally got to play Cities.
Oh, yeah.
Cities, very high on my crunch per rule ratio. That is how interesting are the decisions compared to the rule set. And considering the co-designers are Phil Walker Harding and Stephen Finn, that is why this is a great game with a low rule set. This is basically a worker placement game where you've got 4 different types of actions, and you're building a city. You are going to draft tiles that you're going to use to place into a 9x9 grid. Those are either going to be a 3x3 grid that makes 9 tiles.
Right, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, I got you.
So you got those tiles that you're using. They can have parks that allow you to put like set collecting elements into them. You got ocean tiles that allow you to do some set collecting as well. You've got different scoring cards for each round that you're going to be taking with your worker placement. And then you've also got got the building tiles that you're going to be stacking different colors on top of each other. All of your different cards are going to give you different ways to score those those building blocks that you're building. But also, every game gives you a different city with different public objectives. And so that can really change up the variability of this game. The different private objectives that you're drafting can really change how you're building out your city. And it's just tight. It's quick. A 2-player game I played yesterday where you're actually placing 8 workers out each game. We hammered through that in like 20 minutes.
Nice.
And so, yeah, just a lot to consider on your turn, but it's really easy. You just put a worker down, take your tile, place it into your 3x3 grid, and then when you're done, most points wins. So really appreciated the cities.
I really like the simplicity of the action selection because once you've basically taken that action, well, now you've got to take one of the other ones. And it's like, and you're getting one of everything
every
each
round.
So it's not like, oh, well, I never got the chance. Now, you may not get to draft the ones you want, you know what I mean? Or take
But
the
you're
ones.
always going to get an objective card. You're always going to get a tile.
Yes,
You're always gonna get
I
buildings.
really liked that. I thought that was a really, really good design choice.
And sometimes I like some of those games are like tight, but not necessarily super unforgiving, where you're not going to be able to do all the things that you want.
you're
So
not.
you got to pick and choose which one's going to score me the most points, and I'm forfeiting the other one.
Yep.
All right. That was a long 5.
It was. My bad. That's my fault.
We're going to move us on to number 4. Number 4 is probably shorter than Tim's explanation of his number 5, but it's Ahoy!
Ahoy!
Kitten! This game is way more fun than,
it's so
than
good.
it should be, any right being. 1, 2, 3 point, and you're just taking fish. Or you're not, because somebody else is pointing at the same tile you're pointing at. We talk about this game all the time. Mayday games, and it's ridiculous. All ages, everybody we play this with loves it. We played it, I think, on Friday, I think we were playing it, and people were like looking it up, like, how do I get this game?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a
my
blast.
kids were playing it, and I was even there. They're
I
playing
taught
it.
it to like a couple 8, 9-year-olds, and then like the dad asked, "Where do I buy this game at?"
Yeah. It's fantastic.
It's so good. It's so good. Always happy to champion that game. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's see. My number 4. I'm going to go with an Age Contrived. Finally got to play an Age Contrived. What a cool, unique game. There's power tiles. You're basically these old gods, and you're trying to get more power by building these shrines, right? And so it's got these magnetic buildings that you're putting up on the board. You're building piece by piece. Lots of different unique action selections, and then the way those tiles resolve, because you put them out on the board, and then when they come off, they're going to have an ability. So there's some strategy with trying to seed the board in certain ways. Really glad that we finally got this to the table.
Yeah, like, so I wasn't super keen on this when we played the demo, but man, like, the more I think about it, it's growing on me.
Yeah.
And I want to play it again. I love the acrylic tiles, and it is a very unique action selection where you're using the bottom tile to activate the action underneath it, and then you're freeing the tiles up on top, and you're putting them out on the board and doing different things with them. Like, it was very interesting. I want to play this again.
Yeah, I think for you, having the benefit of like playing a game, like a full game of it, and really seeing
How it
all
works.
unfolds, right? Because we
Right.
got that sort of crash course.
Right, and I was just kind of like, well, but why am I doing these things?
Yeah.
Now I know why.
Yeah, yeah. I've
yeah.
been like, I can't stop kind of thinking about this game.
Yeah.
Like, I want to play it again.
Yeah, we should play it
too. So, number 4, an Age Contrived.
Nice. Love the acrylic tiles that they
Oh,
use
it's a
in
beautiful
that.
game.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful art.
Okay, my number 4 is a very unique 2-player trick-taking game from 25th Century Games. It is Dracula vs. Van
right on,
Helsing.
yeah.
Finally got a chance to check this
We
one
got that in
out.
under the wire because you hit that on the 31st.
Yes, played it on the 31st. So this is a really cool game where you've actually already got your hand out, and your hand is basically already pre-programmed. This card was going to be used for the 5th slot, and this card is going to be used for the 4th territory, for the 3rd territory, so on and so forth. And you're going to be drawing a card and then discarding a card that gives you actions that allow you to manipulate the locations of these cards, view the cards that the other player has out. But once 6 cards have been played, you can choose to end the game or end the round, and then once that happens, you're going to resolve each territory one by one. Van Helsing, if he eliminates all 12 of Dracula's hit points, he wins. If Dracula can bite 4 innocent civilians in one territory, he wins. Or if he survives the 5 rounds of the game. Now, we did actually find that it seems to be a little bit easier to win as Dracula, but I don't think
Van Helsing.
as Van Helsing and eliminating those points, because with Dracula, you're forced to win 4 out of 5 in one territory, which is the trick-taking element. And there is like a way that you can like manipulate what the trump suit is with some of the cards that you discard. It's easier to do that. It's easier to just win tricks than it is to keep winning tricks in the same territory, at least what we found in our games. However, I don't think this is one of those games where like it's so much harder on one side that you're just never going to play it. I think it just means that there's a niche to the challenge.
You just have to play. You're playing a different strategy than when you're playing as Van Helsing.
It's an interesting strategy, though, and it's a really clever game.
And I could see somebody that groks that strategy, and then you're like, well, how does Dracula not ever win? You know what I mean? Because they get like, because I feel like when we played it and then we switched rules, I was a lot closer. I mean, no offense, right? But I think you and I were kind of approaching it the same way the first time we played it, and without knowing like, oh, I need to kind of approach this differently. And then so I had the benefit of when I played Dracula already kind of understanding
Seeing
now how he
works.
works, and which is why I think I did better. So I bet you we table it again, and I bet you we see a lot closer a game.
Plus, I think we figured out it'll be easier to just try to survive as Dracula and not actually bite for people or win 4 tricks out of 5 rounds in the same territory. But Weberson Santiago art,
so good.
One of my favorite artists. And 25th Century just has tons of great games that come out throughout the year. Check out Dracula vs. Van Helsing.
Yeah, great pick, man.
Sweet. Yeah, I wanted to play that game. I saw you guys playing.
Oh, it'll get played again.
Yeah, and it's fast.
I can't wait to
Super
play it
fast.
again. It's a blast.
Super fast.
All right, so my number 3, I technically played 2 different versions of this game, but we finally got to start Clank Legacy together. We've been busting through the missions. It is a fantastic deck builder. It's one of the old school ones, at least the normal Clank is. Also played Catacombs. Catacombs is my other favorite version. If you're not going to play Legacy, play Catacombs. And yeah, so I'm hoping that you guys have been enjoying it as much as I have, even replaying it. But yeah.
My biggest gripe about Clank Legacy is I just don't love the character art as much.
Sure.
Now, and that's the unique characters, not the
Yeah,
the card
upper
art all
management
still
pack,
works.
I think we got is what it is. Yeah,
it's kind of weak.
Yeah, but having the asymmetrical decks is super nice.
Oh, it's awesome. Love it. Having a great time with it.
Yeah.
I'm really glad, and I knew you loved it, but I appreciate you being more than willing and encouraging to play it again with us and go through, and you're not spoiling anything, you know, and everything.
Nope. Because there was a spot too where I knew what it was, but I didn't say anything. I wanted to let them do it themselves. So yeah.
Well, it's funny because you made like one comment, but I was like, "Well, you would do it." And you're like, "Yeah." Turns out
I did
he
the first
had
time.
done it. So yeah, no, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was very cool. All right, yeah, my number 3 is going to be Everdell Duo. Mike and I got to play this a few times, and one of the things I really so anyways, I like Everdell. You like Everdell, you're already in. Duo, it's 2-player, and the really cool thing that this one does is you can play cooperatively, you can play head-to-head, and you can play in a campaign mode. So you're going to have different goals, and there's going to be things that are, well, even if you play cooperatively is basically playing campaign mode, but you can choose to do the campaign, or you just pick a scenario in the co-op and play. But I enjoyed both versions, that we played. It was really fun going head-to-head, and it was really fun trying to co-op and meet those goals. And it's really unique. It's a similar bones to Everdell, but it changes stuff enough and gives you a few new things to kind of mess around with that I really like. That day and night kind of action as it progress, because that puts your timer on the game, right? So depending on what action you take, it moves like the sun or the moon marker. And when it gets to the end, if you can't take the action, if you can't move the marker, and when both markers get to the end of the track, it ends the season, and you go on to the next season. So it plays really fast, and was it was really easy to learn and pick up. So great game.
I like that it makes the game a little bit tighter because I sometimes don't like how long it can go at max player counts. And I like the tension when you see those markers get towards the end and I got to play a card before Tim does, or that card's got to wait till next round.
Yes.
So really appreciated that.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool.
Okay, my number 3, love me some dice chucking. It's Panda Royale.
Nice.
I love the simplicity of this game. You're literally just drafting a dice chucking scoring engine. All of the different dice have different ways to play. So you're just going to start with that one yellow die, and then each round you're going to draft new dice, and all of the dice have different ways to score. Some of them multiply other dice. Some of them allow you to steal dice from other players. Some of them allow you to draft the dice first. And after 10 rounds, whoever has the highest score wins. It's really that simple, but it's just a lot of fun. I just love chucking dice. I like the drafting and trying to get my engine better. And each time I play, trying to get my score higher and higher, which, by the way, my score was bonkers last time we played.
Yeah, so lucky with those red dice.
Red dice. And the red dice have this really cool push, kind of push and pull.
Yeah.
If you get white results, they're subtracted by the black results, and then they are multiplied by the number of red dice you have.
Yeah.
This can give you the highest scores in the game.
Or the lowest.
Or negative scores.
Yeah.
And when you're chucking D8s and rolling 7s and 8s and 5s and 6s and they're all white, you're probably going to score like 230 points in one round like I did. So
I will say I was initially like, that game's fine, but the more that I played it, the more I like it. And it was never like I won't play this game, but like I was like, it's fine. I don't know if I want it, but like I played it a bunch since Gen Con. I think the first time I played it was at Gen Con.
Yeah, with Wes. Wes brought it.
Yeah, and then it's sort of like it's like, we're gonna play this again. Dang, all right, I'm starting to like it more and more every time.
Yeah, I'm glad I picked that up because we played it 4 or 5 times.
You gotta play it a lot. Yeah,
so
that's great.
Yeah, getting the money's
Yeah, my only issue is what am I going to do other than try to get the red dice? Because that's the most fun strategy.
It is the most fun, but man, it's so risky.
It's very
so
risky. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
That's right. And then like we had the white dice, so like, well, I'll steal those 2 red D8s from you, and he's like, well, I have 2 white dice. I'll just steal them right back.
Both going red dice strategy, so we kept stealing from each other.
Yeah, that was funny. All right, number 2. All right, my number 2 kind of makes sense because it is a number 2. It's Halloween 2.
Yeah!
I love hidden movement games, and when I think hidden movement games, like this is like quintessential. This is what I think of. And playing Michael Myers and writing on my board and watching them move around in the directions they're facing so I can sneak up beside them and stab them is just so much fun to me. I don't know why, but it is.
Yeah.
While the first one was fun, I feel like this map is much better. It is unfortunate now they can kill me as Michael Myers. I didn't feel good about that, but
Yeah, we almost did too.
He almost did too. Luckily, I was healing. But man, yeah, it's a bunch of fun. If you love like Halloween or if you love hidden movement at all, Halloween 2 Trick or Treat Studios is going to be coming out soon. Give them a check. Yeah, pick up the first one and play it, and then when the second one comes out, pick it up because it'll have a brand new map and some new tips and just caveats.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, the rules are the same.
Yeah,
There's
same
like
basic rules.
Yeah, if you play one, you can play the other really easily. Just check for like the 3 rule differences, if
Right.
that. I mean, Emerson Matsuuchi, come on, man, he's amazing.
Yep.
So, yeah, great pick.
Yep.
Great pick. It was there if I needed it. So I'm going to go with my number 2. This is a game that I first played at QSCon, was obsessed with it, finally got a copy, and I played it recently, and I want to play it again because we need to do a video for it. And that is Tiger and Dragon. This domino game from Oink Games. And the really cool thing is there's all these different game modes, right? You can play to where you're trying to, gives you different ways to score points, resolve the points. But I mean, basically it's like play a domino and then everybody follows.
Or tries to play the same one.
Yeah,
just depending on
until
what
they
you're playing.
can't, and then you get the,
And you get to play one face down to bury one, and you get to play another one. You're trying to get rid of all your dominoes.
Yes, it's really cool. I really appreciate it. And then depending on if you can like dump everything, like what your last domino was, like would tell you how many points you get. Things like that. So I appreciate that strategy. I like the table talk. Like when do I? because it's kind of like a trick-taking game.
Sort of.
With these little domino tiles. And I say they're dominoes, but they're really just like ceramic.
Yeah. Acrylic or
rectangle.
ceramic.
Yeah, acrylic rectangular tiles. They look like dominoes.
chunky
They just
dominoes.
got numbers on them. Though,
Yeah.
you know, blue and red numbers, and because the blues are even and the reds are odd, or vice versa, one of those.
Something like that.
And yeah, it's really cool.
It's
Love
the
it.
biggest box I've ever seen an Oink game come in.
Yeah. But
So-
I just love the vibe and the style of this game. It's really fun.
Yep.
That was my honorable mention. I'll
Hey, you're
have to
welcome.
make up another one.
You got it. Well, it's your turn.
Yeah.
All right, my number two. My number two. I don't know if Bob told you, but we finally started the Clank Legacy campaign.
Legacy.
We're Clank lovers on
Yeah.
the rundown, and Legacy is a blast. It's everything you
It's so
want
good.
out of a Clank game, except it's got goofy stories and unlocks, and you start with asymmetric decks.
And kind of cooperative.
Yeah, sort of, because you want to work on the missions and you try to get those quests done because you don't want the competition
right.
taking care of things, and then you don't get to unlock all the cool benefits.
And neat surprises where it kind of forces you to go to certain areas of the map just to find out like what the story element is going to be unlocked.
Yeah.
Really enjoying it.
Yeah,
Good.
really appreciating it.
I am glad.
It's good times.
I didn't want to glad I didn't hype it up so much that you guys are just like, well, okay, yeah, it's fine. It's
Clank.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's Clank. I love Clank.
Clank.
I'm happy to play Clank like all the time.
We're going to
Sweet.
keep hammering through it and get to Legacy 2 very
Yeah,
soon.
it's sitting on the
Yeah.
shelf waiting.
There we go.
My number one, it should really come as no surprise. If you've been watching our top 50 games, this game skyrocketed up. I'm still playing it. Literally reached for it. Was it was it Saturday night or was it Friday night? I think it was Saturday. I reached for it and played it again, but I had played it before this Saturday as well. So it was basically twice I've played this game in January. But Forges of Ravenshire, if you don't have this game, go get it. What is wrong with you?
Nice.
This game is fantastic. I love it. I can't get enough of it. It's dice rolling and then your dice placement and your engine building and you're fulfilling contracts, and it's just so good.
It's a whole bunch of feel good wrapped in
Yeah.
great artwork.
Yeah. And I taught 2 people Saturday how to play it, and they both loved it.
Awesome.
Yeah, they're like, this is really good. I was
Oh,
like,
hell yeah.
I know,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I picked it out of the... Because they're trying to figure out what to play. I'm just like, well, I'm just going to pull this out and start setting it up.
Yeah.
Which fuzzy animal would you like to be?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
The cute one.
Yeah. They
Oh,
all
that's
are.
it's all of them, and it's easy to teach.
Yeah.
You know, again, it's
Yeah.
a lot of feel good.
Yeah.
It's an engine builder that's forgiving. You can mess around. You can try different strategies. It does all the things that I really like.
Yep.
It's like my new favorite cozy game.
Yeah, that's what I would call a cozy game. I can kind of sit back and just go and let my engine run. All right, my number one is not out yet, but it will be out this year. But man, I would have played this game all weekend if I had a copy of Wildside. Nice.
It was right there in my honorable mentions. That was
Mike,
good, yeah.
have you played Wildside yet?
Yeah, you should check that game
should
out,
check
dude.
that out. It's
yeah,
really
it's
good.
really good.
I was sick.
If you check out our most anticipated list, whatever order you're watching it, it maybe get talked about over there.
I was
But,
still sick for that too.
this is a game. This is a game that is going to be published by Weathervane Games, designed by Wes Todd, the Mingo. Friend of the show. An awesome human being. But this game's fantastic. It's really good. And this is going to be one kind of like a Flip 7 or something like that, where it's really easy to teach.
Yep.
You
Really
can-
low rules overhead.
You can take it and play it anywhere
like a
with
deck of cards.
anybody. It is a big old stack of cards, and it's really easy to play. You're
Yeah.
basically trying to
It's
shed your
handshake,
hand
yeah. Mhm. And the cards in front of you.
And the cards in front of you. And the fun thing is that 4 of those cards in front of you, you don't know what they are.
They're face down.
So, and if you ever play off and you can't basically get rid of a card legally, you then play your
the pile
card
up.
and pick up that whole pile.
Yeah.
And so there's some caveats and stuff in there too.
Yeah.
But man, Wildside, I'm really
That was a
excited.
lot of fun. I
about.
wish I had a copy of it over the weekend.
Yeah,
too.
I
That
was
fun.
really tempted to try to homebrew one real fast.
Right.
And,
Like the prototype. Yeah.
yeah, and just try to play one. But I'm really pumped for it. I'm
Yep.
really excited. Mike loved it. Oh wait,
This
I mean
is-
he will
He
love
would
it.
love it.
This is you guys teabagging me.
That's two
2 for 2.
Wait, where was the other teabag?
other episodes.
Are you
Yeah.
both co-teabagging me?
We're co-teabagging.
Listen, I'm not gonna kink shame, but calm down.
Speaking of all-time favorite dice placement games, I played Castles of Burgundy.
Oh, yeah.
The special edition from Awakened Realms. This is one of my all-time favorite games. Steffenfeld is my favorite designer. This game is why. And this is just a game that just absolutely never gets old for me. The replayability just feels infinite. The tiles that come out each round drastically change your strategy. The dice that you roll are going to dictate what you get to do. And you are just taking those dice, drafting those tiles, and then taking the dice to put the tiles into your estate and scoring points based on how you're able to collect those tiles. I scored my all-time high score yesterday.
Ooh, bad teacher.
And no, I didn't teach.
Oh, nice.
I actually offered to teach because I've played this game hundreds of times on BGA, but the special edition is just amazing.
So you were playing special edition, right?
Yes.
And it has that new rule with that's the one with the time travel, right? So like after a couple of turns, you can go back and like change what you did previously. That's the time travel module that's in that?
Yes. As long as you do it within the 3 turns. You have a 3-turn
Oh,
limit.
you have a 3-turn limit.
Yeah, you have to
You
go
can
back those turns, and then you can take it back. Yeah.
Because if I had known
If I had known that,
you were
I
going
would
to
have
do
done
what
something
you
different.
did.
Yeah, if I'd known you were going to take that tile, I probably would have taken something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, right? That's a module.
Well, I mean,
limit?
had I known you were going to play Forges of Ravenshire, man, yeah.
Great success.
After all these years, Castles of Burgundy still sings for me. I just love this game. And I actually really kind of tried to go heavy on the new stuff that's been added to the game. Now, we didn't actually use like the Vineyard expansion, so I still haven't experienced that. I will, trust me. But the White Castle, not the one that gives you sliders, but it's a new beige building that gives you flexibility and allows you to use the white die, which is the one the first player rolls. I thought was really clever. There's one that copies any effect from any of the other beige buildings, which was awesome. And now also the inn, which is in the black market every round, guaranteed, and will replenish each round, which increases the size of each village and therefore gives you that better per round scoring. Man, Castle of Burgundy is so good, and the new stuff they added is just really working for me and probably led to my high score, plus some inexperienced players that let me fill an entire estate with sheep. You don't let players do that. In fact, the player that
5 sheep.
I got 5 sheep tiles in one tile. And the funny thing is that one player that you were talking about that wanted to take back a turn was actually literally saying in that game, I never quite understood the farming animal strategy. I just don't think it's that viable, as I literally rattled off 60 points in a round because of those tiles. I'm like, this is why you do that. You kind of have to hate draft the farm tiles. If somebody fills, it's like I get 3 points for the first one. If I drop a 4, then I get 7, and they compound every time.
Every time you play
add
another
more
one, you
in there.
add up all the
Here's
sheep.
3 more. That's 11
Yeah.
points.
Was it
Here's
the Super
5
Deluxe
more.
one that
That's
had the
16.
actual miniature sheep on there?
No. It he actually didn't have the acrylic tiles, but he had the acrylic scoring tiles.
You have those now.
I now have acrylic everything.
Oh.
You got the juice now, Mike.
I do. So Castles of Burgundy.
You know what, though? Let me just say this honestly. It gives me genuine pleasure because sometimes your game gets reprinted, like your favorite game gets reprinted, and it's not as good, or it's, but like to see your face every time, like you talk about Castles of Burgundy, I'm really just so happy for you that the reprint is like everything you wanted it to be.
It is.
And you're
And he
very
didn't have
happy
to
with
bring it. He didn't have to bring it. Somebody else brought it out to play, and
Yeah.
Mike's like, whoa.
I was fighting playing it because when we go to these small cons and we get chances to like learn new games, I want to play new stuff. Like that's kind of what I gravitate towards. But like, there's 3 players. There's a spot for 4. Well, I don't know. Let me think about it, and let me go check some other tables, and I guess I'm in.
And then he's like, we're playing for money, right?
What's that
And
score?
then I
man?
scored 250, which is bonkers. But 2 other players scored over 200. That's a very respectable score.
No, it's just so much fun to watch, like anybody play games that they genuinely love and are really excited. Like when you were playing Forges, you know what I mean? It's like, That's what I love about the hobby. You know what I mean? And we're playing sausage sizzle and getting loud.
Yep.
And I'm playing with strangers, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna warn you, we're the loud table.
Yeah.
Like, just tell you right
true.
now, and
Yeah.
we're gonna talk trash.
I actually warned
so
our
it's-
booth neighbor while we were setting up. We're going to be the loud table. However, what people can hear, their eyes want to see. So we'll bring people over here.
Yeah, and we did.
And we did.
yeah, for sure.
Sweet.
All right, well, that was fun list.
was fun.
Honorable mentions, real fast.
One.
Yeah, so real fast. I mean, so I had Wildside on my list, but you already said it. Pandora Royale, I already said it. The only one you guys didn't mention, that another game that I love it so much, I lost it and bought it again. Blank Slate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love that game. It's just a fun game that you can play with like 8 people.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Great pick. Clank Legacy was an honorable mention. The other Halloween 2 was an honorable mention, and the other one, last one, real quick, is Bob and I started playing through a little bit of Escape from Stalingrad Z.
Yeah, that
it
was
was
fun.
pretty fun. The rules, it takes a minute to kind of like work through the rules.
Yeah.
But once you get that, it's very interesting and it's very fast. So enjoyed that.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed Tiger and Dragon. We got to play Istanbul, the dice game. But also, how about 13th Street Crew from Crymania
Oh,
Games?
yeah.
A very small publisher, recently fulfilled in December. Go to their website and check out this really interesting gang-themed, semi-cooperative game. You're either winning single-handedly as the informant or sharing the victory as the loyal
can
crew.
make enough money.
If you make enough money. We had some fun with that one.
Yeah, it was a great time. Great time. Well, awesome list, guys. This was, as always, super fun. Thank you for watching. Let us know what some of the best games you played in January were, and we'll do this again in a month.
Yeah.
So, for the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
Bob.
Still getting teabagged.
That's Chris.